everybody, it's Amanda and thank you again for joining my channel. I have another process video for you today. In this one I am scrapping a picture of my husband golfing, which he does a lot, but this one was from a golf course in Savannah. What you see me going through here are some of the pictures I've got printed out. The picture that I end up choosing was one of the first ones that stuck out to me for this paper. So that's what I end up going with, but I did want to kind of give the other ones a trial run. So as you can see, I've got some printed out in a 4x4 or 4x6 and some in a 3x4. I toyed with the idea of bringing several of the golf pictures to this layout, and I don't hate that idea of having 3 across the bottom in a 4x6, but for this layout and this story in particular, I really felt like this photo fit it, and you'll see where I'm going with that. At the moment though, I'm still thinking I want to bring in that 3x4. So the paper that I've got here that ends up being a portion of my layout, not my full background, is from from Jen Hadfield, and it's Peaceful Heart collection. And I know it's a simple name, the name of the bird that's on that paper, but I, for the life of me, cannot think of it. So if you would like, please leave that in the comments. But it's just a white and like light blue and sort of a light sage green and golden yellow, and I thought it went really well with A, Savannah, and B, with the picture. So I pulled out some frames from Vicki Boutin's Let's Wander. Nope, am I making that up? Where to Next. That's the collection, Where to Next. And I use a couple of these frames that I have out, but I end up bringing in some more. The paper that I choose for my main background is this ombre yellow paper from Paige Evans, and it is from the Bungalow Lane collection, and it's paper number 8. I ended up cutting about a 4-inch strip for the photo to kind of sit on, and I put it about 1/3 of the way down the paper. And I do turn my paper to where my lightest part of the ombre is at the top and the darkest part is at the bottom. I don't always do that, but in this case I felt like the darkest part of the yellow was a little heavier, so I wanted it to be at the bottom. So I usually ink all of my edges, no matter what paper I'm using, no matter if it's cream based or brown paper. I usually use gray ink, and my favorite gray ink, or my favorite ink in general for inking edges, is Memento Gray Flannel. It's a well-loved ink pad. I've left it open so many times, and it's perfect for inking. I did matte the photo on the B side of that bird paper, which is a navy blue, and I think it's got little house outlines. I didn't need to see the house, I just wanted a pop of the blue. And I did use another floral paper from Jen Hadfield, Heart of Home, and it's called Wild Daisies. Here you see me looking through some of my scraps, and I'm trying to find something else to have another mat. I end up coming across this piece of vellum, which is absolutely perfect. So if you find that you need just a little separation from your mat to your background or in between layers, definitely reach for some vellum. It's a perfect way to just add a little bit of pop without adding anything heavy to it. And I do kind of play around quite a bit with my layers here, and I actually end up bringing in another color that you're going to see in just a second. I struggle with using frames, which is why I end up using so many on this layout, is I wanted to be able to get them on the layout and get them used. I didn't want to use one here and one there. I love how this layout turned out, and I actually kind of want to repeat it with different shapes. So what you see me going through there are just some random papers that I pulled from my stash that I want to use throughout the Savannah trip scrapbooking. I plan to do some 12x12 layouts, but I also plan to do a 9x12 album for Savannah, so I will incorporate some of those papers in that as well. This dark green paper that I'm using as a mat is from another Jen Hadfield collection, 7th Avenue. So I have my paper stored on a paper rack by collection/designer. It depends on how much I have of a collection. So that's probably why I have a lot of Jen Hadfield out right now, because I just grabbed that shelf and went with it. This wood grain A-side white dot grid B-side is a Simple Stories paper, and I'm just using this to back one of the frames where I plan on putting my title. That way I have something pretty neutral behind it, so my title will pop up against it. So I think I'm going to want to pop it up on some pop dots right here. Like I said, I struggled a lot with these frames. I went ahead and cut out a good chunk of that struggling so you wouldn't have to see it, but it took me a long time to figure out how I wanted to do these. And what I cut out, honestly, was just a lot of going back and forth, moving it a centimeter this way, an inch this way, a quarter of an inch this way. And ultimately, I decided and glued down this formation of the frames, and I do add something else to it you'll see here in just a little bit. So my title, I originally wanted it to be From My View, but I had this Love puffy vinyl type sticker in my stash for a very, very long time. I want to say it's from, what was that collection from Crate Paper? Cute Girl. I want to say it's from the Cute Girl collection. So that has been around for a hot minute, and it's just been hanging around in my stash. I finally was able to use it on a layout. I did really like that pop of black. I think it accented the gray, the gray inking, as well as the pops of black that I have in the paper. You can see that I backed the frames with some grid paper. It's actually from a Pink Fresh 6x6 paper pad, and I just kind of pieced it together so I could have some journaling paper or journaling lines in the frames. And I'm just bringing in stickers from a sticker sheet from Vicky's Where to Next collection. And I've went through the stickers and I took some off that I thought I would use, and I stuck them on my acrylic block. That way, I love doing that, so I'm not overwhelmed with the amount of stickers on a sticker sheet. I can pull out the ones that I feel like would work and just work from that, and if I need more, go back and grab more. The little banner looks like an award you would get, or like a ribbon you would get if you won a contest, but it just says so many photos, and it had the perfect colors with the blue, the green, and the yellow. The little geotag that I'm going to place here, there, and everywhere actually says this place, and I end up bringing it back up to the top area, but right now I still haven't decided. I did want something to tuck into the little frame, so I have these banner pieces in black and yellow. I'm telling you, y'all, I struggle with these frames. The green one you can see I cut, so when I went to go align it with the bottom of the mat, I didn't like that you could see that the frame was cut. So I ended up going back and tucking it underneath my photo, but as I'm looking at it right now, it's untucked itself from underneath the photo, so I'm going to have to fix that. There we go. I feel better about that. And yeah, I struggled a lot with it. So I was going through the die cuts. I want to say I just pulled out my Vicky Bouton basket of die cuts and went through and found a frame. And this was what I had in mind. I just didn't know this is what I had in mind. So if you can't tell from the picture, I'm actually sitting on the passenger side of a golf cart watching Travis golf as usual, because I don't golf. So if I do go with him, I'm just watching. I'm not a golfer. But my view is often from through the windshield, because he kind of park the golf cart out of the way, and a lot of the times I'm just looking through the windshield at him. I don't really get to see, he doesn't park right beside where he's going to be hitting the ball. So I snapped this picture when we were in Savannah, and it's such a great representation of my view of him golfing. And that's what my journaling is about. It's more so of how he really suddenly took up golfing and has completely run with it and just succeeded in it in every way. He is a very stubborn person. He is a very competitive person, and he has went from being happy to shoot in the low hundreds to wanting, has broken 80 before, wanting to consistently break 80. And he has something going against him. He should be a left-handed golf player, but he is not. He swings right-handed, but he swings cross-handed. And the fact that he's done that and done as well as he has is absolutely amazing. So ended up cutting that frame in 2 pieces, and I have it going off the top edge and the bottom edge. I felt like that kind of matched the photo more because, as you can see in the photo, it's not a full frame of anything. It's part of him, part of the windshield, part of the golf cart, and I felt like that fit the flow a little bit better, but that did leave me with an awkward gap up at the top. As you can see, I filled it in with a little sun sticker as well as a puffy sticker from the Vicky Bouton, one of her collections. I'm not sure which one. But this is the final layout. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give me a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribing, I would love for you to join us. Thanks, guys.